Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, I need to talk to you about something that has been weighing on my energy for the past few days. And honestly, I think a lot of you Pisces out there are going to feel this deeply. I have been picking up on this intense shift happening in the collective consciousness around Pisces energy, and it has to do with something really specific. There has been so much injustice surrounding your name, your reputation, your truth. People have been making false accusations, twisting your words, using your name in ways that are completely out of alignment with who you are. And then, after all of that chaos they created, they just tried to walk away like nothing happened, like they could just wash their hands clean of it all. I know this sounds heavy, and trust me, the energy I have been feeling around this is intense. But here is what I want you to understand right from the start. This is not just about the pain of being misunderstood or betrayed. This is about a massive, energetic shift that is happening right now because the universe does not let injustice stand forever. There is a recalibration happening, and you are at the center of it. The cards I pulled for you today are revealing a story that is so profound, so layered, that I need you to really sit with each message as we go through this together. So I sat down with my deck, asked Spirit to show me what Pisces needs to know about this situation, and the cards that came through were absolutely incredible. They are telling a story of truth, of karma, of divine justice, and of a new beginning that is so powerful, it is going to change everything for you. I pulled exactly 10 cards for this reading, and each one is going to take us deeper into understanding what is happening behind the scenes, what is coming for those who wronged you, and most importantly, what is opening up for you on the other side of this. Before we dive in, I just want to say that if you have been feeling like you are in this weird limbo, like you are waiting for something to shift, but you do not know what, this reading is going to bring so much clarity. The energy around Pisces right now is about vindication, about truth coming to light, and about you stepping into a version of yourself that is no longer willing to carry other people's projections and lies. All right, let us get into the cards. I am going to share what came through, and I have a feeling this is going to resonate on such a deep level for so many of you. The first card that came out for this reading was Three of Pentacles, and I have to tell you, when this card showed up, I immediately understood what Spirit was trying to communicate. The Three of Pentacles is traditionally about collaboration, about building something together, about the recognition of skill and effort. But in the context of what you have been through, Pisces, this card is showing me something really specific. It is showing me that there was a situation where you were part of something, maybe a project, a relationship, a work environment, a friendship circle, where you were contributing your energy, your time, your talents. You were showing up authentically, doing your part, being the person who actually cared about the integrity of what was being built. But here is what this card is revealing. While you were busy being genuine and doing the work, there were other people in that same space who were not operating from the same place of integrity. They were watching you, observing your efforts, and somewhere along the way, they started to feel threatened by you. Maybe it was your talent. Maybe it was the way other people naturally gravitated toward you. Maybe it was the fact that you were not willing to compromise your values. Whatever it was, instead of celebrating the collaborative energy that the Three of Pentacles represents, these individuals decided to undermine you. What I am seeing with this card is that they started planting seeds of doubt about you. They began making subtle comments, raising questions about your intentions, your capabilities, your character. And because the Three of Pentacles is about a group dynamic, this was not just one person. This was multiple people who may have even coordinated their efforts to discredit you. They made false accusations, they twisted situations to make you look bad, and they used your name in conversations where you were not even present to defend yourself. The reason this card came out first is because Spirit wants you to understand the foundation of what happened. This was not random. This was calculated. These people saw something in you that they did not have in themselves, and instead of doing their own inner work, they chose to try to tear you down. They thought that by damaging your reputation, they could elevate themselves. They thought that by making you look incompetent or untrustworthy, they could secure their own position, their own recognition, their own sense of worth. But here is the thing that the Three of Pentacles is also revealing. The very structure they were trying to build through deception and manipulation is fundamentally flawed. When you build something on lies, it does not matter how solid it looks on the outside, the foundation is weak. And that weakness is starting to show. The collaborative energy that should have been present in that situation is completely absent now. And people are beginning to notice. The harmony is gone, the productivity is suffering. And there is this underlying tension that no one can quite name, but everyone can feel. What I am picking up is that you may have already stepped away from this situation, or you are in the process of removing yourself from it. And that decision, even though it may have been painful, even though you may have felt like you were giving up or walking away from something you invested so much in, was absolutely the right move. Because the Three of Pentacles in this context is showing me that the work, the real work, the meaningful work was never going to be possible in that environment. Not because of you, but because of the toxic energy that those other people brought into the space. Spirit is also showing me through this card that there is documentation of what happened. Whether that is literal documentation like emails, messages, records of conversations, or energetic documentation in the form of witnesses who saw what really went down, the truth of the situation is not as hidden as those people think it is. The Three of Pentacles often represents the idea that your work speaks for itself, and in this case, your integrity and your genuine efforts have left an impression on people who matter. Not everyone was fooled by the false narrative that was being spread about you. I am also getting that this experience, as painful as it has been, has taught you something invaluable about discernment. You now have a much clearer understanding of who is worthy of your collaboration, your energy, your trust. You have learned to spot the signs of people who are more interested in appearances than authenticity, who are more focused on competition than genuine co-creation. And that wisdom is going to serve you incredibly well as you move forward and start building new foundations with people who actually share your values. The energy of the Three of Pentacles here is ultimately about recognizing that you do not need validation from a corrupt system or from people who were never truly your allies. Your skills, your talents, your integrity, they stand on their own. And as this shift continues to unfold, you are going to find yourself in new collaborative spaces where your contributions are genuinely valued and where the people around you are operating from a place of authenticity and mutual respect. Moving to the second card, and this one gave me chills when it appeared. Queen of Swords came through, and let me tell you, this is one of the most powerful cards in the deck when it comes to truth and clarity. The Queen of Swords does not mess around. She sees through illusion, she cuts through lies, and she stands firmly in her truth, no matter what chaos is swirling around her. And Spirit pulled this card to show you who you are becoming through this experience, and also to reveal what is happening in the energetic realms right now. First, let us talk about you. Pisces, you are known for being empathetic, compassionate, deeply feeling. You are the sign that naturally wants to see the best in people, that gives second chances, that tries to understand where someone else is coming from, even when they have hurt you. And those are beautiful qualities. But what this experience has done is activated the Queen of Swords energy within you. You have had to develop boundaries that you may not have had before. You have had to learn to see people not just for who they could be or who you hope they are, but for who they are actually showing themselves to be through their actions. The Queen of Swords represents someone who has been through pain, who has experienced betrayal, and who has come out on the other side with crystal clear vision. She does not operate from bitterness or vengeance, but she absolutely does not tolerate deception or manipulation anymore. She values truth above comfort. She would rather face a difficult reality than live in a comfortable lie. And that is where you are right now, Pisces. You have reached a point where you are no longer willing to make excuses for people who have shown you their true colors. You are no longer interested in being the peacemaker at the expense of your own truth. What I am picking up with this card is that there may have been a moment recently, or there is a moment coming very soon, where you spoke your truth in a way that was firm, clear, and undeniable. Maybe you finally addressed the false accusations directly. Maybe you set a boundary that you have been avoiding setting. Maybe you simply stopped engaging with people or situations that were draining your energy. Whatever form it took, this was a Queen of Swords moment, where you stood in your power and refused to be gaslit or manipulated any longer. Now here is the other layer of what the Queen of Swords is revealing. This card also represents a woman or feminine energy in your situation who is playing a key role in the truth coming to light. This could be you, stepping into your own Queen of Swords energy. But it could also be someone else, someone who witnessed what happened, someone who has information, someone who is not willing to stay silent anymore. The Queen of Swords is associated with justice, with fairness, with calling out wrongdoing when she sees it. And there is an energy here of someone speaking up, of testimony being given, of facts being presented that completely contradict the false narrative that was created about you. I am also getting that this Queen of Swords energy is very much about mental clarity cutting through emotional manipulation. The people who made these false accusations about you, they may have tried to use emotional tactics to make you doubt yourself. They may have played the victim. They may have twisted your compassion against you. They may have made you feel like you were the one being unreasonable or overly sensitive. But the Queen of Swords sees right through all of that. She understands that emotional manipulation is a tool that people use when they do not have truth on their side. And as you step more fully into this energy, you are becoming immune to those tactics. There is also something here about the power of your words right now. The Queen of Swords is incredibly articulate. When she speaks with precision and purpose. And I am getting that your voice, whether it is literal or metaphorical, is carrying a lot of weight right now. People are listening to you differently. There is a gravitas to your communication that was not there before. You are not speaking from a place of trying to prove yourself or defend yourself anymore. You are simply stating facts, setting boundaries, and letting the truth stand on its own merit. And that shift in your energy is incredibly powerful. One more thing about the Queen of Swords in this reading. She is often depicted sitting on a throne, elevated, with a clear view of everything around her. And that is where you are being called to stay right now, Pisces. Do not get dragged down into the mud with people who are operating from a low vibration. Do not engage in petty back and forth arguments. Stay in your throne, stay in your clarity, stay in your truth, and watch as the situation unfolds from that higher perspective. The Queen of Swords knows that she does not need to chase anyone down or force anyone to see the truth. She trusts that truth always reveals itself eventually, and she is patient enough to let that process happen. The third card that came through is the Hanged Man. And I knew this one was going to appear in this reading because the energy of it has been so present in what you have been experiencing. The Hanged Man is one of those cards that people often misunderstand. On the surface, it looks like a card of being stuck, of suspension, of not being able to move forward. And yes, that is part of it. But the deeper meaning of the Hanged Man is about a complete shift in perspective, about seeing things from an entirely different angle, and about the wisdom that comes from being forced to pause and reflect. For you, Pisces, the Hanged Man is showing me that there has been this period where you felt like you were in limbo. After the false accusations were made, after people tried to tarnish your reputation, you may have felt like you could not do anything about it. You could not force people to believe you. You could not control the narrative that others were spreading. You could not make the truth come out faster than it was ready to emerge. And that feeling of helplessness, that feeling of being suspended in a situation where you have no control, that is the challenging part of the Hanged Man energy. But here is what Spirit wants you to understand through this card. That period of suspension, that time where you felt stuck, it was not wasted time. It was sacred time. It was a period where you were being given the opportunity to see everything from a completely different perspective, When you are in the middle of a situation, when you are actively involved and trying to make things work, you often cannot see the bigger picture. You are too close to it. But when you are forced to step back, when you are in that suspended state, you start to see things you could not see before. You started to see patterns in people's behavior that you had been making excuses for. You started to understand the dynamics of the situation in a way that was not possible when you were still invested in trying to make it work. You started to recognize your own role, not in causing the problems, but in tolerating them for longer than you should have. The Hanged Man brings this gift of hindsight, this clarity that only comes from distance and reflection. What I am also picking up with this card is that during this period of suspension, you have been going through a profound spiritual initiation. The Hanged Man is associated with sacrifice, but not sacrifice in the sense of giving something up for no reason. It is sacrifice in the sense of letting go of an old version of yourself, an old way of being, an old set of beliefs about what you are supposed to tolerate or accept. You have been sacrificing your need to be liked by everyone, your need to keep the peace at all costs, your need to make sense of why people would treat you the way they did. And through that sacrifice, through that letting go, you have been gaining something far more valuable. You have been gaining sovereignty. You have been gaining the ability to trust your own perception of reality instead of allowing other people to tell you what is true. You have been gaining the strength to stand alone if necessary, to be misunderstood if necessary, because you know who you are, and you are no longer willing to betray yourself to fit into someone else's narrative. The Hanged Man is also showing me that this period of waiting, this period where it felt like nothing was happening, was actually a time when a lot was happening behind the scenes that you could not see. Sometimes the universe puts us in a holding pattern not because we are being punished, but because things need to align in a certain way before the next chapter can begin. People needed to reveal themselves more fully. Situations needed to deteriorate to the point where the truth could no longer be hidden. Your own energy needed to shift and strengthen so that you would be ready for what is coming next. I am getting that. The Hanged Man is also speaking to the idea of martyr energy, and this is important. There may have been times during this experience where you felt like you were being made into a scapegoat, like you were the one being sacrificed for other people's sins, other people's mistakes, other people's lies. And there is some truth to that. You were made into a convenient target, but the Hanged Man is asking you to make sure you are not carrying that martyr identity forward with you. Yes, you were treated unjustly. Yes, false accusations were made against you, but you are not a victim. You are someone who is going through a transformation, someone who is gaining wisdom and strength from this experience. The last thing I want to say about the Hanged Man is that this card often appears when we are being asked to surrender our attachment to a particular outcome. You may have spent a lot of energy hoping that certain people would apologize, that the truth would be acknowledged in a specific way, that justice would look a certain way. And the Hanged Man is gently inviting you to release those specific attachments. Not because you are giving up on justice, but because the form it takes may be different than what you imagined. The vindication you seek may come through doors you did not even know existed. Trust that the universe is handling this in ways that are beyond your ability to orchestrate. The fourth card is Judgment, and let me just say, when this card shows up in a reading about false accusations and injustice, you know that major energetic shifts are happening. Judgment is one of the most powerful cards in the major arcana. It represents awakening, reckoning, truth being revealed, karma coming full circle, and the final resolution of situations that have been dragging on for far too long. This is not a subtle energy, Pisces. This is the universe standing up and saying, enough is enough. Time for everyone to face the truth of what they have done and who they really are. The first thing that Judgment is showing me in your reading is that there is an awakening happening on a collective level around the situation you have been dealing with. The false accusations that were made against you, the ways your name was used and dragged through the mud, these things did not happen in a vacuum. Other people saw what was going on, other people heard the accusations, other people may have even questioned whether there was truth to them. But now, Judgment is bringing a clarity, a revelation, a moment where people are suddenly seeing the situation for what it really was. This could manifest in many different ways. It could be that new information comes to light that completely contradicts the false narrative. It could be that the people who made the accusations get caught in their own lies or contradictions. It could be that someone who was silent before finally speaks up and corroborates your side of the story. It could be that the person or people who tried to defame you end up doing or saying something that reveals their true character to everyone else, and suddenly people start questioning everything they were told about you. What I am really picking up strongly with judgment is this idea of a reckoning. The people who tried to wash their hands clean after making false accusations about you, they thought they could just move on like nothing happened. They thought they could create chaos in your life, damage your reputation, and then just walk away without consequences. But judgment says absolutely not. There is a cosmic accountability happening here. The universe keeps receipts, and the bill is coming due. Judgment is also very much about the truth rising to the surface. No matter how deeply something is buried, no matter how many lies are piled on top of it, the truth has its own frequency, its own power, and it always finds a way to emerge. And that is what is happening now in your situation. The truth about what really happened, about who you really are, about who these other people really are, it is rising. It cannot be suppressed anymore. It cannot be hidden anymore. The time for revelation has arrived. I am also getting with this card that there is an element of public awareness or public opinion shifting in your favor. Judgment often appears when things that were private become public, when things that were whispered about become openly discussed. If your reputation was damaged in any kind of public way, whether that is at work, in your community, on social media, or within a social circle, judgment is indicating that the tide of public opinion is turning. People are starting to question the narrative they were fed. People are starting to see inconsistencies. People are starting to realize that maybe they were too quick to judge you based on what someone else said. Another layer of judgment is about spiritual justice versus human justice. Sometimes we get so focused on wanting accountability in a very specific, tangible way. We want the person who wronged us to apologize publicly. We want them to face professional consequences. We want everyone who believed the lies to admit they were wrong. And sometimes that happens, but sometimes the justice that comes is more karmic in nature. Judgment is showing me that whether or not you see obvious earthly consequences for the people who wronged you, there is absolutely a spiritual reckoning happening. Their energy is being affected. Their path is being redirected. The lessons they need to learn are being presented to them over and over until they cannot avoid them anymore. Judgment is also calling you, Pisces, to rise above the pettiness of wanting revenge or wanting to see these people suffer. This is about you standing in your truth, about you living your life from a place of integrity, about you allowing the universe to handle the karmic balancing while you focus on your own healing and growth. Judgment asks us to be willing to forgive, not for the benefit of those who wronged us, but for our own liberation. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It does not mean allowing people back into your life. It does not mean pretending it did not hurt. It means releasing the energetic cords that keep you tied to the situation, so you can fully step into your future without carrying that weight. I am also seeing with judgment that there is something about this entire experience that was meant to wake you up to a bigger truth about your life, your path, your purpose. Sometimes we go through these incredibly difficult, unjust situations because they are catalysts for massive transformation. They force us to question everything, to examine our values, to get clear about what we will and will not accept in our lives. And through that process, we discover parts of ourselves that we did not know existed. We find strength we did not know we had. We clarify what really matters to us in ways we could not have done otherwise. Judgment is ultimately a card of liberation. It is about being freed from old cycles, old patterns, old energies that have been holding you back. And the injustice you experienced, as painful as it was, is actually the key to your liberation. It is breaking you free from needing external validation, from needing to be understood by people who are not capable of understanding you, from needing to play small or dim your light to make others comfortable. You are being called to your highest self, and Judgment is the trumpet sound announcing that call. The fifth card that appeared is Two of Cups, and this might seem like an unexpected card in a reading about betrayal and false accusations, but Spirit always knows what it is doing. The Two of Cups is traditionally the card of partnership, of mutual respect, of balanced give and take, of genuine connection. And in the context of everything you have been through, this card is showing up to remind you of something really important and to point toward what is coming for you as you move through this shift. First, let me talk about what the Two of Cups is revealing about the contrast between authentic connection and toxic dynamics. The situation you went through where people made false accusations and used your name, that was the absolute opposite of what the Two of Cups represents. That was a dynamic where there was no genuine care, no mutual respect, no balanced energy exchange. Those people took from you your reputation, your peace of mind, your sense of safety, and they gave nothing but harm in return. The Two of Cups is showing up to highlight just how far that situation was from what you deserve and what you are truly worthy of. But here is where this gets really beautiful. The Two of Cups is not just showing up to point out what you did not have. It is showing up to promise what is coming. As you move through this period of clearing out toxicity, as you step away from people who were not honoring you, as you raise your standards for what kind of energy you will allow in your space, you are creating room for genuine Two of Cups connections to enter your life. This could manifest romantically. If you have been single, or if you have been dealing with someone who was not treating you right, the Two of Cups is indicating that a real, balanced, mutually respectful romantic connection is on the horizon for you. Someone who sees your value, who appreciates your authenticity, who would never dream of tarnishing your reputation or treating you with anything less than honor and respect. The universe is bringing you a match that operates on the same frequency of integrity that you do. But the Two of Cups is not only about romantic partnership. It is also about finding your people in general, finding friends who truly have your back, finding collaborators who respect your contributions, finding mentors or guides who see your potential and want to support your growth, finding community where you feel safe to be yourself. After experiencing betrayal and false accusations, it can be really hard to trust people again. The Two of Cups is Spirit's way of saying, do not close your heart completely. Yes, be discerning. Yes, maintain boundaries. But know that there are people out there who are worthy of your trust, and they are coming into your life. What I am also picking up with the Two of Cups is the importance of the relationship you have with yourself right now. In traditional tarot imagery, the Two of Cups shows two figures facing each other with equal cups, representing balance and mutual exchange. But I am seeing this card also as an invitation to bring that same energy of respect and honor to the relationship between your human self and your higher self, between your wounded parts and your healed parts, between who you were before this happened and who you are becoming through it. The Two of Cups is asking you to practice giving yourself the same grace, patience, and understanding that you so freely give to others. It is asking you to honor your own needs the way you would honor a beloved partner's needs. It is asking you to listen to your own voice, your own intuition, your own truth, with the same attentiveness you would give to someone you deeply respect. Because the truth is, the most important relationship you have is the one you have with yourself. And this experience has been teaching you to value that relationship above all others. There is also something the Two of Cups is showing me about emotional reciprocity, and how you are no longer willing to accept relationships where you are the only one putting in effort, the only one being vulnerable, the only one showing up authentically. You have learned through painful experience what it feels like to give your trust and your energy to people who do not cherish those gifts. And now you are calibrating to a new standard. You are looking for the Two of Cups energy in every interaction, asking yourself, is this balanced? Is this mutual? Is this serving both of us? Or am I the only one giving here? The Two of Cups is also bringing a message about forgiveness and reconciliation, but not in the way you might think. This is not about reconciling with the people who wronged you. This is about reconciling the different parts of your own experience. Reconciling the fact that yes, people hurt you, and also yes, you are going to be okay. Reconciling the anger you feel with the compassion that is natural to you. Reconciling your desire for justice with your need for peace. The Two of Cups brings harmony, and that harmony starts within you. One last thing about this card. The Two of Cups often appears when there is a need for healing in the realm of trust. And I am getting that part of what is coming for you, Pisces, is meeting people who will help restore your faith in human goodness. People who will show you through their consistent actions that not everyone is manipulative, not everyone is out for themselves, not everyone will betray your trust. These connections are going to be medicine for the wounds that were inflicted on you. Moving to the sixth card now, and we have Ace of Swords coming through. This card is absolutely perfect in this reading because the Ace of Swords is all about breakthrough, clarity, truth cutting through confusion, and the power of a new mental perspective. After everything you have been through, this card is showing that you are experiencing or about to experience a major moment of clarity that changes everything. The Ace of Swords represents the highest expression of mental energy. It is about cutting through illusion, seeing reality clearly, and having the courage to speak and act from that place of clarity. In your situation, this card is indicating that all the confusion, all the gaslighting, all the attempts to make you doubt your own perception of reality, that fog is lifting. You are seeing everything with crystal clear vision now. You understand exactly what happened, why it happened, and who the people involved really are. What I am picking up strongly with the Ace of Swords is that there is or there will be a specific moment, a specific realization, a specific piece of information that comes to light that is like a sword cutting through all the lies and confusion. This could be something you suddenly understand about the situation that you had not seen before. It could be evidence that surfaces that proves your side of the story. It could be someone finally telling you the truth about what was really being said behind your back. Whatever form it takes, the Ace of Swords is a breakthrough moment where suddenly everything makes sense. I am also getting that the Ace of Swords is about you reclaiming your voice. The people who made false accusations about you were essentially trying to control the narrative, trying to speak for you, trying to define who you are to others. And for a time, you may have felt silenced. You may have felt like anything you said would be twisted or used against you. You may have felt like there was no point in defending yourself because people had already made up their minds. But the Ace of Swords is your voice coming back, stronger and clearer than ever. This card is telling me that you are finding the words, the courage, and the platform to speak your truth. And when you do, when you cut through all the noise and simply state the facts, simply share your perspective, simply stand in your integrity, it is going to have a powerful impact. People are going to listen. People are going to recognize the ring of truth in what you are saying. The Ace of Swords cuts through deception like a hot knife through butter, and your truth has that same cutting power. The Ace of Swords is also about mental sovereignty and intellectual independence. Part of what you are reclaiming through this experience is your right to trust your own mind, your own judgment, your own assessment of situations and people. The false accusations and manipulation you experienced were forms of psychological warfare. They were attempts to make you doubt yourself, to make you question your own sanity and perception. But the Ace of Swords is you taking back your mental power, refusing to allow anyone else to tell you what you know to be true. Another aspect of the Ace of Swords is about justice and legal matters. If there is any chance that this situation could involve formal proceedings, official complaints, legal action, or any kind of official investigation or documentation, the Ace of Swords is a very positive sign. It represents truth prevailing in official contexts, evidence being taken seriously, and the power of facts and proof to cut through bias and assumption. I am also seeing with the Ace of Swords that you are developing a new level of discernment. You are learning to read between the lines, to notice inconsistencies in what people say versus what they do, to recognize red flags earlier. Your intuition is being sharpened, but so is your logical, analytical mind. You are becoming someone who does not just feel their way through situations, but also thinks critically about them. This combination of intuitive wisdom and intellectual clarity is incredibly powerful. The Ace of Swords can also indicate breakthroughs in communication. If there have been misunderstandings or blocked communication channels, this card suggests that pathways are opening up. Messages that need to be received are getting through. Conversations that need to happen are finally happening. The air is being cleared, and that clearing is making space for truth to be heard. One more thing about the Ace of Swords. This card often appears when we need to make a clean cut, a decisive action, a clear choice. And I am getting that you are at or approaching a point where you need to make some final decisions about this situation. Who do you cut out of your life completely? What bridges do you burn? What doors do you close and lock? The Ace of Swords gives you the clarity and the strength to make those cuts cleanly, without guilt, without second-guessing yourself, knowing that it is necessary for your well-being and your future. The 7th card is the Star, and I cannot tell you how much hope and healing this card brings to your reading. After talking about betrayal and false accusations and all this heavy energy, the Star arrives like a breath of fresh air, like the first light of dawn after a long, dark night. This card is about hope, healing, renewal, inspiration, and the promise that better days are absolutely coming. The Star appears after the Tower in the tarot, which is significant because the Tower represents destruction, upheaval, everything falling apart. And what you have been through, the false accusations, the damage to your reputation, the betrayal, that was your Tower moment. Everything you thought was stable, trustworthy, or secure was suddenly revealed to be built on shaky ground. But the Star comes after the Tower to show that once everything false has been cleared away, what remains is truth, and from that truth, something beautiful can be rebuilt. What I am seeing with the Star in your reading is that you are entering or about to enter a period of deep healing. The wounds that were inflicted on you, they are real, and they need time and care to heal properly. But the Star promises that healing is not only possible, it is already happening. Every day that passes, every moment you spend prioritizing your well-being, every act of self-care, every boundary you set, it is all contributing to your healing process. The Star is also about hope, and I think this is so important for where you are right now. When you are in the middle of an injustice, when you are dealing with lies and betrayal, it can be really hard to maintain hope. It can feel like the truth will never come out, like your reputation will never be restored, like you will never be able to trust anyone again. But the Star is Spirit's way of telling you not to lose hope. The story is not over yet. In fact, the most beautiful chapters are still ahead of you. One of the key symbols in the Star is water being poured from jugs back into a body of water and onto land, representing the flow of spiritual energy, emotional replenishment, and the return of abundance after a time of drought. And that is what is happening for you energetically. The situation you went through drained you. It took your emotional energy, your peace of mind, your sense of safety in the world. But the Star is showing that you are being replenished. The universe is pouring healing energy into you. Your spirit is being renewed. Your faith is being restored. The Star is also deeply connected to inspiration and finding your purpose. Sometimes when we go through really difficult experiences, we come out the other side with a clarity about what we are meant to do in this world, how we are meant to serve, what message we are meant to share. I am getting that this experience, as painful as it has been, is actually going to become part of your story, part of your medicine, part of what allows you to help others who go through similar situations. The Star suggests that you may find yourself drawn to speaking up about injustice, supporting others who have been falsely accused or betrayed, or using your voice in ways that contribute to collective healing. The Star is also about authenticity and showing your true self to the world without fear. The false accusations you faced were essentially attacks on your authentic self. People tried to define you as something you are not, tried to make others see you through a distorted lens. But the star says that your true light cannot be dimmed by other people's lies. Who you really are is shining through. And as you continue to heal and step into this new chapter, you are going to feel more comfortable than ever being your authentic self, not caring what people think, not dimming your light to make others comfortable, just being fully and unapologetically you. I am also picking up with the star that there is divine guidance available to you right now. The star is often associated with following your guiding light, trusting in a higher power, knowing that you are being supported by something greater than yourself. And I want you to really tune into that, Pisces. You are not alone in this. The universe, your guides, your angels, whatever you believe in, they are with you. They have witnessed what happened to you. They know the truth, and they are actively working behind the scenes to bring about the resolution and healing that you need. The star is also showing me that you are rediscovering your sense of wonder and optimism. When you go through betrayal, it can make you cynical. It can make you suspicious of everyone and everything. But the star is reminding you that while discernment is important, closing your heart completely would be a tragedy. There is still so much beauty in the world. There are still good people out there. There are still dreams worth pursuing and connections worth making. The star is inviting you to let yourself hope again, to let yourself dream again, to let yourself believe in good outcomes again. Another beautiful aspect of the star is about wish fulfillment and manifestation. This card suggests that things you have been hoping for, praying for, dreaming about, they are starting to align for you. Not in spite of what you have been through, but in some ways because of it. Because you have been through this fire, you have clarified what truly matters to you. You have released what was not meant for you. You have made space for what is truly aligned. And now, the universe can bring you what you have been calling in. I am also seeing with the star that there is something about sharing your story, your truth, your experience in a way that inspires others. The star is the card of the muse, the artist, the healer, the person who takes their pain and transforms it into something that serves others. You may find yourself wanting to write about your experience, talk about it publicly, create content about it, or simply be open about what you went through so that others who are going through similar situations know they are not alone. Your vulnerability and your willingness to share your truth could become a source of hope for many people. The star also speaks to patience and trust in divine timing. The card often shows a woman pouring water, which is a slow, deliberate process. And that is the energy you are being asked to embody right now. Trust that things are unfolding in their right timing. Trust that the truth is being revealed at the pace it needs to be revealed. Trust that your healing is happening even when you cannot see obvious progress. Trust that the universe has a plan that is bigger and better than anything you could have orchestrated yourself. The 8th card that came through is 3 of Wands, and this card brings such powerful energy of expansion, progress, and looking toward the future. The 3 of Wands is about standing on solid ground and looking out at the horizon, seeing all the possibilities that lie ahead, knowing that you have laid important groundwork and now you are ready to move forward into new territory. In the context of everything you have been through, the 3 of Wands is showing me that you are moving from a defensive position to an expansive one. For a while, you were in survival mode, dealing with the immediate crisis of false accusations, protecting yourself, trying to manage the damage. But that chapter is closing. You are not in defense mode anymore. You are in expansion mode. You are looking forward. You are planning your next moves. You are getting excited about what you are going to create and where you are going to go from here. The 3 of Wands is also about the rewards of patience and planning. The figure in this card has already sent out their ships, metaphorically speaking. They have already put things in motion. And now they are waiting for those efforts to come back to them with rewards. In your situation, I am seeing that the boundaries you have set, the truth you have spoken, the integrity you have maintained, these are your ships. And they are out in the world doing their work, seeds are being planted that are going to grow into something much bigger than you can see right now. What I am really picking up with the Three of Wands is the sense of you reclaiming your vision for your life. When you are in the middle of dealing with other people's drama and toxicity, it is really hard to focus on your own goals and dreams. Your energy gets consumed by the situation. But now, as you extract yourself from that toxic dynamic, as the truth starts to come out and vindicate you, you are getting your energy back. And with that energy, you are reconnecting with your own vision, your own ambitions, your own desires for your life. The Three of Wands often appears when there are opportunities for growth and expansion on the horizon. This could be professional opportunities, creative projects, travel, education, new connections, collaborations that actually honor your contributions. The universe is opening doors for you, and these are doors that lead to places where your talents and your authenticity are valued. You are not going to be stuck in the same patterns and dynamics that led to the false accusations. You are moving into completely new territory. I am also seeing with the Three of Wands that there is something about you stepping into a leadership role or a more visible position. This card shows someone who is elevated, who has a vantage point, who can see further than others. And after everything you have been through, you have gained wisdom and perspective that many people do not have. You understand human nature in a deeper way. You understand how to spot manipulation and deception. You understand the importance of integrity and authenticity. And these are qualities that make you a natural leader, mentor, or guide for others. The Three of Wands is also about enterprise and taking initiative. This is not a passive card. This is not about waiting for things to happen to you. This is about you actively creating your future, making bold moves, taking calculated risks, putting yourself out there in new ways. And I am getting that you are being called to do exactly that. To stop playing small. To stop letting fear of judgment or fear of being misunderstood hold you back. To step fully into your power and your potential. There is also something the Three of Wands is showing me about partnerships and collaborations, but this time with people who are actually aligned with you. Unlike the toxic collaboration dynamic shown in the Three of Pentacles at the beginning of this reading, the Three of Wands suggests partnerships based on mutual vision and respect. You may be connecting with people who share your values, who want to build something meaningful, who see the bigger picture the way you do. These are the kind of collaborations that actually lead somewhere, that create something real and lasting. The Three of Wands is also about foresight and strategic thinking. You are developing the ability to see several steps ahead, to anticipate potential challenges before they arise, to plan your moves carefully. The experience you went through taught you to be more careful about who you trust and what situations you enter into. And while that might sound limiting, it is actually empowering. You are making choices now from a place of wisdom rather than naivety, and that is going to lead to much better outcomes. One more thing about the Three of Wands, this card is associated with the element of fire, which is the element of passion, inspiration, courage, and action. And I am seeing that you are reconnecting with your fire. The situation you went through may have dampened your enthusiasm for a while, made you more cautious, made you pull back your energy. But your fire is returning. Your passion is coming back. Your courage is being restored. And when you combine that fire with the wisdom you have gained, you are going to be absolutely unstoppable. The ninth card is the Fool, and I have to tell you, this is one of the most beautiful and hopeful cards to appear in your reading. The Fool is the very first card of the major arcana, numbered 0, and it represents new beginnings, fresh starts, innocence, trust, and the courage to leap into the unknown. After everything you have been through, the Fool is showing up to tell you that you have the opportunity to start completely fresh, to reinvent yourself, to approach life with a renewed sense of wonder and possibility. Now I know what you might be thinking. The Fool? Does not that card imply naivety? Does not that mean being foolish or unaware? And yes, that is one interpretation. But the deeper meaning of the Fool is about being willing to take risks, to trust in the journey, to step into new experiences, even when you cannot see exactly where they will lead. And after being burned by false accusations and betrayal, this is exactly the medicine you need. The Fool is telling you not to let this experience make you so jaded and closed off that you never take another chance on anything or anyone. What I am seeing with the Fool in your reading is that you are being given the gift of a completely fresh start. The old chapter is over. The people who wronged you are no longer part of your story unless you choose to keep them there. The false accusations and the energy around that situation, they do not have to define you or limit you going forward. You can literally start over with a clean slate, approaching your life as if you are beginning a brand new adventure. The Fool is also about freedom and liberation. This card shows a figure standing at the edge of a cliff, about to step off into the unknown, with nothing weighing them down. And that is where you are energetically. You are free now in ways you were not free before. Free from toxic relationships. Free from the need to prove yourself to people who were never going to believe you anyway. Free from the burden of carrying other people's projections and lies. Free to be exactly who you are without apology. I am also picking up with the Fool that there is a childlike quality being restored to you. Not childish, but childlike. That sense of curiosity, of playfulness, of being open to magic and synchronicity. When we go through trauma and betrayal, we often become very serious, very guarded, very adult in the heaviest sense of that word. But the Fool is inviting you to reconnect with the lighter parts of yourself, to laugh more, to play more, to not take everything so seriously, to remember that life can be joyful and surprising and delightful. The Fool is also deeply connected to trust. Trust in the universe, trust in yourself, trust in the journey. And I know that trust is complicated for you right now after what you have been through. But the Fool is not asking you to trust blindly or naively. The Fool is asking you to trust wisely, to trust your intuition, to trust that you can handle whatever comes your way, because you have already proven that you can survive really difficult things. To trust that good things are possible for you, that not every person is going to betray you, that not every situation is going to turn toxic. The Fool also represents spontaneity and going with the flow. For a while, you probably needed to be very careful and calculated about your choices because you were protecting yourself. But the Fool is saying that it is okay to loosen up a little now. It is okay to say yes to things that excite you even if they do not make perfect logical sense. It is okay to take a chance on a new opportunity or a new person without having every detail figured out. The Fool knows that some of the best experiences in life come from being willing to leap before you can see the landing. I am also seeing with the Fool that you may be embarking on a literal new journey. This could be travel, relocation, a new job or career path, going back to school, starting a creative project, anything that represents a significant departure from where you have been. The Fool loves new experiences and new horizons. And I am getting that the universe is presenting you with opportunities to explore new territory, both literally and metaphorically. The Fool is also the card of the spiritual seeker. This card suggests that you may be deepening your spiritual practice, exploring new belief systems, or simply becoming more attuned to the mystical and synchronistic aspects of life. The experience you went through may have actually strengthened your connection to spirit, because when human support fails us, we often turn more deeply to divine support. And that connection is going to serve you beautifully as you move forward. One last thing about the Fool that I find really powerful in your reading. This card is about taking the first step without knowing all the steps that will follow. And that is exactly what you are being called to do now. You do not need to have your entire future mapped out. You do not need to know exactly how everything is going to unfold. You just need to take the next right step, and then the next one, and then the next one. The path will reveal itself as you walk it. That is the way of the Fool, and that is the invitation being extended to you right now. The 10th and final card in your reading is Knight of Pentacles, and this card brings such grounded, steady, reliable energy to close out everything we have discussed. After all the drama and chaos of false accusations and injustice, after all the spiritual and emotional intensity of the other cards in this reading, the Knight of Pentacles arrives to remind you of the importance of slow, steady, consistent progress. This is not a flashy card. This is not about dramatic breakthroughs or sudden victories. This is about showing up every day, doing the work, staying committed to your path, and trusting that consistent effort will lead to real, lasting results. What I am seeing with the Knight of Pentacles is that you are being called to approach this next chapter of your life with patience, diligence, and practicality. Yes, all of the spiritual and energetic shifts we have talked about are real and important. But you also need to ground all of that energy into tangible action in the physical world. The Knight of Pentacles is about building something real, something solid, something that cannot be easily shaken or destroyed. In the context of recovering from false accusations and betrayal, the Knight of Pentacles is showing me that the best response is to simply keep living your life with integrity. Keep showing up as your authentic self. Keep doing good work. Keep treating people with respect. Keep honoring your commitments. Your character and your track record will speak for themselves. You do not need to defend yourself loudly or constantly. You just need to be consistent in your actions and your values. And over time, the truth of who you are will be undeniable. The Knight of Pentacles is also about financial stability and material security. If the situation you went through had any impact on your finances, your job security, or your material resources, this card is a positive sign that you are rebuilding that foundation. You may need to be conservative with your resources for a little while, budget carefully, make practical decisions about money and career. But the Knight of Pentacles promises that through steady effort and responsible choices, you will create the financial security and material stability you need. I am also picking up with this card that you are developing or strengthening qualities like discipline, responsibility, and reliability. These might not sound like the most exciting qualities, but they are incredibly powerful. The people who wronged you, the ones who made false accusations and then tried to wash their hands of it, they showed that they lack these qualities. They lack integrity, follow-through, accountability. But you are embodying the opposite of that. You are becoming someone who can be counted on, who does what they say they will do, who takes responsibility for their actions. And that is the kind of character that builds real success and real respect over time. The Knight of Pentacles is also about attention to detail and thoroughness. This card suggests that you should be meticulous in how you handle things moving forward. If there are any loose ends from the situation you went through, tie them up carefully. If there are records that need to be kept, keep them. If there are boundaries that need to be maintained, maintain them consistently. The Knight of Pentacles does not cut corners or skip steps. He does things properly, and that thoroughness protects him from future problems. I am also seeing, with the Knight of Pentacles, that there is something about building your life in a way that is aligned with your values, and that cannot be easily disrupted by other people's chaos or drama. This Knight is steady. He is not swayed by every wind that blows. He knows where he is going, and he stays on his path regardless of what is happening around him. And that is the energy you are being called to embody. No matter what those people who wronged you do or say, no matter how the situation continues to unfold, you stay focused on your own path, your own goals, your own growth. The Knight of Pentacles is also associated with nature, the earth, and finding peace in simple, grounded activities. And I am getting that part of your healing process involves spending more time in nature, getting out of your head and into your body, doing physical activities that ground you, creating routines and rituals that bring you comfort and stability. This is not glamorous work, but it is the work that actually creates lasting well-being. One more thing about the Knight of Pentacles. This card can sometimes indicate that results take time. You might not see immediate vindication or immediate consequences for those who wronged you. You might not see immediate rewards for your integrity and your hard work. But the Knight of Pentacles promises that if you stay the course, if you keep showing up, if you keep doing the right thing day after day, the results will come. They will be real, they will be solid, and they will be lasting. Slow and steady wins the race, and that is the energy you are being asked to trust right now. So Pisces, those are your 10 cards. Let me just recap what came through for you. We had Three of Pentacles showing the toxic collaboration where false accusations were born. Queen of Swords representing your clarity and the truth-telling energy that is emerging. The Hanged Man showing the period of suspension and the wisdom gained from a shifted perspective. Judgment bringing the awakening and reckoning that is happening now. Two of Cups promising authentic connections and self-reconciliation. Ace of Swords cutting through lies with breakthrough clarity. The Star offering hope, healing, and renewal. Three of Wands showing your expansion into new territory. The Fool inviting fresh starts and trust in the journey. And Knight of Pentacles grounding everything into steady, practical progress. This has been such a powerful reading, and I really hope it brought you some clarity and comfort. The injustice you experienced was real. The false accusations were wrong. The way people tried to wash their hands clean after using your name was cowardly. But you are going to be okay. More than okay. You are going through a transformation that is making you stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your truth than ever before. The universe sees what happened. The truth is coming to light. And while justice might not look exactly how you expected it to, it is happening. Trust the process, stay in your integrity, keep moving forward. Better days are absolutely ahead. If this reading resonated with you, I would love to hear about it in the comments. And remember, you are not alone in this journey. Sending you so much love and light.